And a warm welcome to you and Assalamu alaikum. My name is indeed Ashraf Garda. Thank you for joining us today on this show on Salam Media, which we run throughout the month of Ramadan. This being day 11, fast 11 of the 30-day fast of the month of Ramadan. So we're one third done, two thirds to go. I just wonder what your thoughts are as you've completed one third of this fasting and the Taraweeh month of Ramadan, right? As always, your thoughts are, most welcome, and you can WhatsApp us. I just want to get that you can WhatsApp us with your voice notes or text in terms of your experiences during Ramadan so far. Has something absolutely stood out for you during Ramadan? Has something happened to you or somebody you know in Ramadan that's a complete highlight that has just stood out for whatever reason? I want to know. 061 766 0355. You can also call in live. That's voice note or text, right? On WhatsApp. To call in live, 010-880-2396. Today, we're going to focus to a large degree on the KZN floods, looking at different angles on that one. So, here's a call out to you as well. If you know someone, even now in KZN, who's willing to share their experiences and the trauma and the support that is being done and needs to happen in KZN, then we want to hear from them. So please just drop us a WhatsApp. We'll connect with them, 061 766 0355. So we'll talk about that. We'll also chat to the Ukraine ambassador to South Africa around her Twitter tit for tat with Durko at various sources. So we'll talk about that too. There's a fascinating Boober connection around in Cape Town, which is very common, as you know, on the 15th of Ramadan. But they're using that Boober night, in fact, to highlight the issue of the plight of the homeless people. So we're going to talk to Hassan Tabada about that. Ashraf Garda, as always, will be fired up. Then I'm looking forward to two other things. The Awal Mosque is featured in the Know Your Mosque, with the historical mosques of our country. And oh yes, Maulana Abdurrahman Layli, and this is really important for those who are performing Umrah even now, is like how to get your Ramadan Umrah right. How to get the Ramadan Umrah compared to the Hajj absolutely spot on. So we'll talk about all of those things. But first up, of course, we will talk about the huge problems around KZN. 59 people, in fact, now have died. This program is brought to you by the Africa Muslims Agency. Imagine a world where every family has food for suhoor and iftar in Ramadan. That's the challenge, isn't it? Call AMA on 010-0722-262.
Imagine the joy of receiving a meal for suhoor or iftar. Africa. This Ramadan, join Africa Muslims Agency to provide meals to the fasting for 100 Rand a day, a food hamper for 1,500 Rand, or feed a village for 15,000 Rand per day. Imagine if you could earn Allah's forgiveness in these 10 days through your acts of charity. Donate today. Call AMA on 011-834-8685 or donate online. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
Spread the sunshine and make mealtimes sunshine delicious. Sunshine D, the versatile margarine and fat spread that is perfect for spreading, baking, and cooking. Need inspiration? Visit nowwecooking.co.za.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Zakah has the power to end extreme poverty. If the whole world gave zakah, it could end extreme poverty many times over. Islamic Relief has been distributing zakah for over 38 years. Our zakah policy complies with strict Sharia guidelines. It's endorsed by qualified scholars, and it only goes to eligible rights holders. So, harness the power of your zakah with Islamic Relief.
Are you looking for a cross-border road transport company that is committed in achieving high safety standards, who is fast and efficient, and also excellent customer service? Gardi Global specializes in cross-border transport from South Africa to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi. Gardi Global, situated at 10 Daniel Road, Benrose, Johannesburg. For inquiries, contact our trained staff on 011 614 3108 or email info@gardiglobal.co.za. Safe, long haul into Africa is our business. Gardi Global Transport.
It's been a household name for years. It's been an important ingredient in South African kitchens, and it's been an affordable, healthy choice for your family. Helios. First our pure sunflower cooking oil, and now introducing Helios margarines and spreads, following the same traditions and tastes you've grown to love and trust from Helios. Fortified with vitamins A, D, and E, also rich in omega-3 and 6 essential fatty acids for a healthy eating lifestyle. Helios margarine and spreads, available now at all leading South African supermarkets. Helios margarine, the tradition lives on.
The global wheat market is in turmoil and prices have risen rapidly. This places the most vulnerable Syrians at greater risk of hunger and food insecurity. Sponsor a ton of flour at just 7,500 Rand and help ensure displaced Syrian families get their daily bread. Donate flour for Syria online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Mornings with Ashraf Garda. Connect on Twitter at Ashraf Garda. This is the Ashraf Garda Show. 8 to 10 a.m. And you are listening
he's been on standby.
to Media.
And then we're going to do the voice notes, and hopefully at that point we'll have.
All right, so welcome back. Lots to talk about today. By the way, there's also been a story about the Hello Darlings issue. Remember that story about so many people having lost their money? We'll understand there's now been an official application for provisional liquidation by Hello Darlings, which, becomes a big legal issue, which does suggest that the chances of you getting paid out now before full liquidation is it's not going to happen. That's the reality. If you know much about it, in fact, if you are one of those people affected, and there are many people I know affected and impacted by that, feel free to connect with us to get your story about what you feel about the fact that they're going to go now for provisional liquidation. 061 766 0355. The big story that we're going to focus on now is the KZN flood story. Hashtag KZN floods. 59 people now have died, and sadly so, still many people unaccounted for, which does suggest that there could be even a bigger number of people, sadly, would have lost their lives by the time we stop counting around this particular issue. So we're going to get different angles on this issue, and you, again, if you have an eyewitness report around it, a citizen report around what's been going on in KZN, then I certainly want to know, and feel free to just connect with us. So one person involved from a humanitarian point of view is Ahmed Osman from Human Aid SA. Ahmed, appreciate your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. So, I mean, I take it you are very much based in KZN, right?
Yes, we are based in KZN.
All right. Let's start with this. I mean, yes, we've had multiple stories and multiple angles on this issue, but how do you explain the level of devastation? And before you answer that, let me put it this way. I'm in Gauteng right now. Often when we get flooding, it's the river just mildly bursting its banks, and you get people in Alex Township near Sandton living in shacks who obviously are at huge risk. But if anybody thinks it's very similar, I mean, you're going to tell me, Ashraf, you have no idea. This is much, much, much bigger. Am I right?
Yes, this is much bigger, because that is just, you have that one part where your river bank bursts, and you have the challenges that come with it. We had, apart from that, we had stormwaters in the normal streets and suburbs that could not handle the capacity of rain, so the roads were flooded and houses were getting flooded. And the biggest challenge that we had is the landscape of the Durban and the surrounding areas is quite hilltops and mountainous. So the landslides and the mudslides and the caving of the land that realized into collapsing and toppling over homes and dwellings. That was the biggest challenge. And the rubble that
So that's interesting. There are two parts, because the obvious one would be like rivers flooding, and that would be at a lower level, close to the ocean mouths in that case, right, or the river mouths. But you're saying that because of the mountainous areas, there's this landslide that comes down. So that explains why mountainous suburbs are also seriously affected. So give us a sense of in your understanding of the overall devastation of the entire, KZN region, or let's say Durban, where you are right now.
Okay, with regards to the KZN region, spreading far across, from the other side of Stanger, Tonga, right up to the Shepstone, we still, up to last night, I can tell you, we were still working around the Espingo area where devastation still exists because the water is damming. There's no so much outflow that's leading up into the sea because it's too much of water that is coming in still, and there's too much of no drainage supply that will allow for the more water to move. But the devastation is bad. The lower lying, the mountainous areas where we have informal settlements, that was very traumatic for us. When we went out yesterday to assist those that have lost their homes and their belongings, several people we found that were lying covered up, bodies that were lying, families that have passed away because the homes collapsed as a result of this mountainous landslides that resulted in toppling over their entire homes with the families in it. We were there yesterday at about 4 o'clock, and 5 members from one family, 4 members were found, bodies were lying there. They were still digging for the baby. They couldn't find the baby.
Oh my goodness. Terrible. Yeah.
This is what we've physically viewed with our own eyes. When we lost our brother Abdul Rashid, where the masjid collapsed in Morningside, Lady Bruce Road. And it took 7 hours to find the marhum's body.
And he's the muezzin of that mosque, right? Yeah.
Yes, he's the muezzin of that mosque.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. How? So at the moment, the official death toll is 59. There's many people unaccounted for. What's your sense? And I know you can't be accurate about this, but your sense based upon what you see, would I be right, sadly, so to say, that number is going to really climb?
Yes, that number is going to really climb because there's a lot of people with anticipation. We're hoping that, they've been misplaced or there's some way where they lost their phones and be communicated with, that, let them get time to settle, or they're stuck somewhere. But that number is going to rise. It's definitely going to rise. In that one morning alone, in the span of Seri time, yesterday, 3 children, 3 infants, we had recorded 3 infants that passed away within minutes in one road, in one area in Durban.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that by and large is about what? Walls collapsing, which then exposes them to the water flow that's running down those mountainous roads, right?
Yes, these are now the suburbs and structures where this walls falling down, internal walls, houses, roof collapsing, and those type of developments. This is besides what is now on the informal sector. So that.
All right. Yeah. What about now? So that's the people who've died. How many people, in your opinion, have been displaced? That means they cannot lead normal lives at this point in time.
Oh, that number is in the thousands. Clearly in the thousands. Just in one area, one part of one informal settlement alone, I think we had a few hundred people that were affected. That's just one part. I'm talking about not the entire settlement. I'm talking about one part of a settlement. We visited a few, and that's besides now that informal settlement. We have so many homes, besides the boundary and the retaining walls that have collapsed. That's still understandable. I'm talking about homes where internal walls, roofs have collapsed, and their lives have drastically changed because these are now the middle to lower income bracket people. So thousands of lives are going to change after this.
Am I right in saying, as so often happens when it comes to flooding and earthquakes and other natural disasters, it affects everybody, but it affects the most vulnerable a heck of a lot more than those who are, as you would describe, middle class or upper middle class. So it doesn't mean it doesn't affect them, but there's still relative privilege that allows them to insulate themselves, yeah?
Yes, correct. But in this time, obviously it was a natural disaster, so there are challenges, but definitely more on the low income bracket that has been more challenging. affected.
And what about the city? Is the city of Durban, like Winnie, is it a functioning city at the moment? I mean, give us a picture of what's generally happening in the city. Can people go to work?
Yes, today, inshallah, they'll be able to go to work. We were last night in the city. We went out to give out blankets to the homeless, and there is a sense of clear. The city is cleaned. You can move in. The rubble on the road that has been cleaned up. Certain parts, yes, the road has collapsed. Damages is excessive, so those pathways will close. But there are other alternative routes to getting. The city itself, the main CBD of Durban, was not so drastically hit with regards to the flooding. They managed. Allah made it such that they've got quite saved. Not that there wasn't any issues, but it's not as bad as the outer lying areas.
Yeah, got that. What about? I mean, and I want to talk about your human aid in just a moment, but your thoughts in terms of what's being done from KZN emergency services, because I mean, there's two parts. There are people like yourselves that provide help and assistance, but there's also emergency services from government side, so therefore KZN services that should be at the forefront. To what degree are they taking over and assisting and alleviating the problems that the people are experiencing?
Look, for the night that this occurred, which was I think Monday night, it was all hands on deck. I mean, everybody played their part, whether it be in the public sector, whether it be in the private sector, whether it be in the government sector. Going to aid and to rescue the people, everybody stretched themselves to the maximum to assist and get. But now when you're talking post-event, where we have to start assisting, everybody has this, because the area is so huge, the numbers are so huge, that everybody has 20s of lives to take part in doing what they can. Local organizations, NGOs and NPOs, you reach within your community, within your network, you try to make a dent, you try to make a difference here nearby, so you can have access to and you can check on the communities near you. But from a government level, we were in meetings yesterday, they are too playing their part with regards to immediate essential needs, which right now would be blankets and hot meals. Just to keep the people warm a little bit and maybe some clothing and to keep them fed. For those that have lost everything.
And I suppose you've sort of partially answered the question, isn't it? That there are probably like 10 or 15 different relief organizations that could be assisting at different levels. And you, as Human Aid SA, you would go to areas where your network of support is strongest, isn't it? And others will do other likewise.
Yes, we have a network amongst Alhamdulillah, we have a network amongst organizations that we collaborate in. If I'm covering a certain area and I'm doing feeding, for instance, in a certain settlement or certain section, I inform on that there's no duplication, there's no wastage, and the others take part in different sectors. So we know where there's a shortfall, and we know if in case there's a potential duplication.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about people who suggest that climate change is a serious problem, and this may be an example of the impact, the devastation of climate change that it causes, right? And therefore, South Africa, in terms of placing people at floodlines, that has to change completely. And I'm talking about low-lying areas in particular, right? Your thoughts on that? That means we need to be better prepared because these things are going to recur in some form or the other.
Look, that being said is in its place, but we all know, end of the day, look, climate change is there, but Allah Ta'ala is in control of everything. We all know that, but definitely taking lessons from the events that happened, we have to think differently, we have to act differently, and we cannot allow anybody to live within the proximity of low-lying areas with the potential of this type of devastation and loss of lives more than loss of property.
Yeah, good point. Tell me then about the, you obviously part is you assisting, but you also need help, right? What sort of help do you need as Human Aid SA right now?
For now, alhamdulillah, we need everybody's support and du'as. And the most important part is at the moment, Human Aid requires funding so we can help those that are in need more. The bigger picture beyond immediate relief, like your hot meals and your clothing and your blankets that's been done now, we obviously then have the next step where we have to rebuild. People lost their entire contents of their homes, apart from building up their homes. I mean, I'm sure government will and insurance companies will take part in those certain things, but not everybody is fully covered and not everybody has insurance. So you have contents of homes where stoves, fridges, beds, blankets, mattresses. So there's just immediate relief. There's short and then long-term relief that's also going to be required.
Okay. And I mean, anything else you want to alert us to before I let you go?
Just make dua. because we've been informed that, you know what, alhamdulillah, we've crossed this, we're going from it, but we've been warned that we should expect more severe rains coming weekend on Friday, Saturday again.
Yeah, and that poses all sorts of problems now to a broken infrastructure. In terms of donating, I mean, you have lots of detail. I'm not going to read out everything. Is there, maybe one website and one contact number that people can respond to ASAP?
The Instagram account, humanaid.
Okay. So just not SA, humanaid.net, right?
No, humanaid.sa.
Oh, humanaid.sa, yeah?
Yeah, our Instagram handle is humanaid.sa.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you right away, by the way, just so that you know. But feel free as well to even use on the Salam Media Twitter account, just tag us as well. So we're certainly going to share that too. Appreciate you giving up your time. I thought it's really important to get an insight from someone who's very much on the ground in terms of relief for this absolute devastation that's occurred in the greater KZN region, particularly in eThekwini, around the sea, around those high-lying areas of the Durban region. Thank you for your time there, Ahmed Osman from Humanaid SA. So there you are. Follow them on Instagram, humanaid.sa. I'm going to do that as well. Now, there's been, I understand there's also the Intuzuma cemetery, and there's been such flooding there, and this is horrific, that it's uncovered from whatever is underground, because it's all floating, and there's been human skeletons floating. I mean, just think about the trauma, the absolute trauma for families in those communities. And this just shows you how human beings are so helpless when devastation visits their shores. All of us are absolutely helpless. And again, the most vulnerable are the most vulnerable. Need I say that? We'll chat to Shanaz Parra coming up just now from Penny Appeal. But to get us there's some voice notes that we want to play that I thought, summed it up first from Bilal Adamji, and then a few others around the CPF community, which just gives you a sense of the urgency that they had to inject in the people around them to try and provide the type of support and relief to those areas. Here they are.
589 Brickfield Road sorted out. Everyone pulled out. Karagola place needs assistance. There's a wall that collapsed. Mohammed Ismail's house, the water is getting into the house. If there's any members available to go and help there, Karagola place.
Lady Bruce Road, Morningside off Al Ehig. Assistance needed, building collapsed. Don't know if people are trapped inside. There's a masjid here on Lady Bruce Road. I think the muazzin is trapped inside the building. The sand is very soft over here. Assistance needed here. Ammo, whatever it is. Fire brigade.
Guys, please note, there are a lot of families that are destitute currently. Their houses have been, either they've been evacuated or collapsed, and they are being housed in NMJ. If you know anyone that needs assistance and they can be moved to NMJ is open there at the moment. And kindly see whoever is available to help and assist now to move the people. It has been a long night, and the rain seems like it's not going to stop. It's going to start raining again just now. So please be ready to assist whoever you can.
Okay, there we are. I mean, that just gives you a sense, and therefore, please, if you have other voice notes and videos with sound, I certainly want to be able to play that. Okay, so if you have them, please pass it on. Just WhatsApp us to the Salam Media offices and studios, and we'll be able to play that like ASAP. I'll give you that WhatsApp number just in a moment. I often do that, so let me just remind you of that. But really, I think the issue there is particularly important that we can share that, just so you get a sense of what's happening. And I'm talking about the greater community, right? So 061 766 0355. 061 766 0355. Let's now move on to Shanaz Parak from Penny Appeal. Of course, we've chatted to her very often on the Salam Media programs. She's the CEO of Penny Appeal. Shanaz, appreciate your time. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I trust you're well and everybody's keeping safe, inshallah.
Well, we are well, and I can't even say I trust people in the KZN region are well, because clearly, if not physically, then there's emotional and psychological trauma that all of you experienced, right? Let's start with that. I mean, what's your description of what's happened in the last 48 hours in your region?
I think it's been thoughts of everything from it's just a little rain, it's going to get better, to then fully understanding and grasping the magnitude of what actually transpired around us. We're not talking about outlying far areas which are prone to flooding. We're talking about, relative roads around the house, around the corner from where people reside, from where we reside. We're talking about informal settlements some of which have lost everything. Houses have been obliterated. It's a very somber mood here in Durban. So being out in the field yesterday with our responses, we noticed, a lot of individuals basically, there's nothing to be said. It's a matter of just survival, being able to go to places of safety, being able to ensure your family is safe somewhat, shelter, food. So we're literally dealing with, with level 1 basic responses currently. And I think the psychological aspect somewhere, once it's settled and people begin to grasp what's just transpired, I do feel that there'll be, a lot more in terms of people now acknowledging the magnitude of what's taking place.
Yeah, and are there lessons to learn from this? I mean, you've been involved in relief aid so many times in so many different places, but I suppose every time you do, there are new lessons to learn. Are there lessons that you can learn from this?
Undoubtedly, I think as a community, all of us, including our government, including civil society bodies and NGOs, we all have a role that needs to be reevaluated in terms of our response plans to emergencies. But more than responding to emergencies, this time it's a lot about disaster preparedness and understanding that we need to have robust plans in place in the event of flooding. In the event of being able to access, specifically in this case, a lot of search and rescue was required in those initial phases. A lot of people were chucked under rubble. A lot of people were in very precarious situations because they needed to survive, to not drown. So I think that we can definitely look at improving and having more robust systems in terms of disaster preparedness and then response around search and rescue. I think as NGOs, a lot of fellow NGOs are doing sterling work. Hats off to everybody who's on the ground. We need to just understand that as much as there's need for first level response now, we must understand that there's a bigger crisis that's going to come, which is, of course, where did displaced people go? People have been displaced. What's next? Community halls can't be open in their cities. And so there needs to be collaborative thinking around what are the next steps for being able to resettle people, resettle families, and hopefully give them a good start again.
Yeah, and of course you need other help, right? What sort of help do you need? How can people reach out to you?
We've been instrumental, and the teams are still out all of today, as well as yesterday. All throughout the week, we'll be visiting the areas we work in. A lot of areas where our orphan and vulnerable children reside have been affected, they've been affected. We require resources such as funding to purchase blankets or donation of blankets. It is quite chilly for Durban, even if I may say so myself. Individuals don't have anything. Blankets go a long way. We're going to be looking at providing items for children. There's going to be winter wear such as beanies, scarves, socks. All of these things we require funding to be able to procure or donations in kind towards it. We'll also be providing hot meals to some of the areas that we work in. A lot of them are the areas inside. So we're talking areas like Amawati. We're talking about Kodebeka and going out towards the two side. A lot of areas that haven't been touched that much. But who are very much in need. It literally looks like a war zone. Everything's upside down. So we're also looking for volunteers to aid and clean up once we get the go ahead that it's safe enough to do so. I think that's also a vital component.
Yeah.
Anything, I think we require prayers and du'as and well wishes, because more than us being able to go out there, firstly, it's purely by the grace of the Almighty that we're allowed to intervene and assist in these matters. But we also pray for those affected. The mindset and the psychological impact, especially for children, is something that we can't really imagine. And so we pray for them to be able to be strong enough to carry it.
Absolutely.
And also for us to have the strength, everyone's going through everything. It's been a challenging, let's say, 2 years, but it's just for us to be able to continue whatever the Almighty has allowed, give us permission to do.
Okay, I just think we've lost Shanaz just for a second. Shanaz, you still there? No, we just lost her. Okay, Penny Appeal. By the way, you can go. I mean, you know them. They're on Instagram in particular. You can just follow Penny Appeal. Okay, I think we just lost that sound sort of, but we get the essence of what Shanaz Parak said. So Penny Appeal, follow them, and they need support. They need help. They need financial support. They need help in kind as well. Together with many of the other organizations as well. Ultimately, all of that is to provide relief for the people of KZN, and it's quite devastating. We'll be chatting shortly to the South African ambassador. Well, let me get that right. To the Ukrainian ambassador to South Africa. That comes up just now. But before that, let's get another thought on this one from what's going on in KZN with Georgia Ponono. He's from the Abatla Abase Njondolo. That's the organization for shack dwellers, right? George, appreciate your time and a good morning to you.
Good morning to all the listeners of Falling FM, and good morning to all the communities.
Thank you. So, we were speaking earlier on that when there's devastation that afflicts a city or a town, it affects everybody, but it affects the most vulnerable more than others, right? So particularly where you fit in with an organization representing shack dwellers, give us a sense of the impact that it's had on your communities.
So thank you very much to Radio Alansang to give us an opportunity. And I would like to send condolences to all the families that they've lost their loved ones and, their families and their members and whoever that has been hooked within the road with these problems that we had in KZN. So we really send our prayers on them, telling them that we are with them. Right now, my name is Nkapeli Ponono, the Deputy President of the Sheikh Dwellers Movement that it was formed in 2005 in KZN. Right now, we are the poor of the poorest, people that are really living in under bad conditions. But what we have witnessed with this flood is very sad. We have lost a number of people in informal settlement, and we still don't even have the correct number. That how many bodies that is still going to be found. For example, you take it to Clear State in Foreman Road, where like thousands of people have been washed away, and already so far there are 2 bodies that we have found them, and there are still a lot of people that are missing, and a lot of them that we found them under rubble, but still alive, but they have been rushed in hospitals. So we are still thinking for assistance, for more people to go there and assist. There are a number of areas, the situation is very bad. People, they've lost their belongings, food, their homes. Right now, people are left homeless. There's a number of areas we have witnessed as well in Ketocrest area where a 3-month baby has lost his life as well, and their parents have been rushed to hospital and all that, but now they are all out, but the baby has passed on. And there are a number of areas. Right now, the situation is very bad, and we are seeking for help. Whoever that can come up front, and we are also thinking from the government to come closer because it's been for years we're saying the conditions that we are living under it's not good for human beings.
Yeah, is there a contact number we can reach out to you for people who want to help?
Yes, if people they can join us on our Facebook page where there's a number of an account and also contact numbers where people they can be able to assist the movement. So a movement will go to the people. But by the way, they can also contact me with my number so I can put them direct to their communities on this number here of 073 067 3274. And then they can also contact the land number. It's 031 304 6420.
Okay, got that. Thank you. We'll announce it as well. Appreciate your time. There you are from the Shack Dwellers movement. That's Georgia Ponono. Thank you again. we'll get different takes on this, because there's just so many different angles to the story. Sadly, so we certainly will cover it from all angles as we can. There's another interesting thought for the moment about the story of Ukraine and South Africa and where they fit in and who's doing what. We'll get the Ukrainian ambassador to South Africa to talk to us right after this.
Did you